Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskrutyam naram chaiva narottamam Devi Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavatim uttama shloke bhaktira bhavati naishtaki. Grandraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. So we're reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 3rd canto, 21st chapter, titled as Conversation between Manu and Kardama Muni. Text number 31. Lord Vishnu is pleased with the tapasya of Kardama Muni, and Lord Vishnu blessed Kardama Muni, and he said that tomorrow Swayambhuva Manu and his wife Satrupa will come and they will offer his daughter to you for marriage. After getting married with her, you will get 9 daughters and a son, and during this Grihastha ashram with your tapasya, your heart will be cleansed by properly carrying out my commands, which is the instructions of Lord Krishna. And as ideal devotee of Lord, you will offer all the fruits of your actions to me, and then ultimately you will attain me. So Srila Prabhupada ji explains in the purport of the previous shloka, that whatever we do, we should do it for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. When we do that, our heart gets purified, and then ultimately we achieve Krishna Loka, and we can go back to home, back to Godhead. Further, Lord Vishnu blessed Kardama Muni, and in this shloka, Lord is saying to Kardama Muni about future of Kardama Muni, what will happen to him. So here Lord says, Krutva dayam cha jiveshu Dattva cha bhayam atmavan Vayyatmanam saha jagad Drakshashi atmani chapimam Kritva dayan cha jiveshu. Kritvan, having shown, dayan, compassion, sarva jiveshu, to all the living entities. So Lord is saying that Kardama Muni, you will show compassion to all the living entities, and you will attain self-realization. Giving assurance of safety to all, you will perceive your own self as well as the universe in me and myself in you. So here Lord is blessing to Kardama Muni that ultimately you will realize me, you will understand me, and you will achieve the self-realization. First of all, you will, while you are in the Grihastha ashram, you will be very compassionate to all the living entities. And then, while you are being compassionate to all the living entities, you will attain self-realization. And slowly and steadily, while you are achieving the self-realization, you will understand my nature, and then you will attain me. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada ji explains this shloka very nicely and very elaborately. Srila Prabhupada ji writes here, the simple process of self-realization for every living entity is described here. So here, this shloka where Lord describes the process of self-realization for every living entities. The first principle to be understood in the self-realization is that this world is a product of Supreme Will. There is an identity of this world with the Supreme Lord. This identity is accepted in the misconceived way by impersonalists. So, if you really want to understand self-realization process, what does that mean? Understand that who am I? What is the purpose of my existence? What is the ultimate aim of human life? Which is called as Athat Brahma Jignasa. So if you want to know who you are, why do we change this body, who is, how this world is being run, what happens after death, what is the purpose of my human life, then the first step is that you have to understand that this whole world is run by the Supreme Will. There is a Supreme Person who is running this entire universe. That is the first step. But there are people who are called as impersonalist. What does that mean? Mayavadis. They do not accept that there is a person. They do not accept that this whole world is run by a person. Any organization, any institute, there is always a person who is running the institute, right? So here, Srila Prabhupada explains that the first step in the self-realization is to understand that there is a person there. Nothing happens without a person. And that person, Supreme Person, is running the affairs of entire universe. But the impersonalists have misconceived the idea. They say that Supreme Absolute Truth, transforming himself to the universe, loses his separate existence. So Mayavadis, impersonalists, they say that as the Lord has distributed his energy, the Lord is finished. Like for example, if I have 100 rupees and I give 100 rupees, distribute it, then my 100 rupees is finished. That is their material identification, material understanding. But in the spiritual world, even though Lord distributes everything, he remains complete. Purna Om Purnamadaya Purnameva Mashishyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Mashishyate. So Lord has unlimited energy. Even though he distributes all the energies, he is never finished. His energy is never finished. But impersonalists, they say that when Lord created this universe and he distributed his energy, so Lord is finished. Thus they accept that the world and everything into it to be the Lord. That is pantheism, wherein everything is considered to be the Lord. So they say that as there is a Paramatma within all of us, so the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Paramatma, as he has distributed among all of us, Paramatma is finished. This is the view of impersonalists. But those who are personal devotees of Lord take everything to be the property of Supreme Lord. So that is personalist. So personalists, they know, the devotees of Lord know that even though Lord has distributed himself in the form of Paramatma, Shirodakshai Vishnu, within all the living entities, but Lord himself is there in the form of Satchitananda Vigraha. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. He is residing in his Golok Vrindavan Dham. So even though Lord distributes his mercy, he still is there in him as a person. Everything, whatever we see, is the manifestation of Supreme Will, Supreme Lord. Therefore, everything should be engaged in the service of Supreme Lord. So the devotees, they know that whatever we are seeing is because of the blessing of Lord Krishna. So everything has to be engaged in blessing of service of Krishna. Lord Krishna says, Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. So devotees of Lord are always thinking about Krishna, always worshipping Krishna, always paying respects to Krishna, and doing whatever they do, yat karoshi yad yatnashi yat karoshi tadati yat. Whatever they do, whatever charities they perform, whatever activities they perform, everything is performed for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. Therefore, everything should be engaged in the service of Supreme Lord. He is the one who gives everything, so we should use everything in His service. The difference between the impersonalist and personalist is that impersonalist does not accept the separate existence of Lord, but the personalist accepts the Lord. He understands that although he distributes himself in many ways, he has a separate personal existence. So this is the difference between a devotee and a Mayavadi. A Mayavadi, they think that Lord has no form, Lord is finished. भगवान खत्म हो गए हैं, भगवान को कोई अस्तित्व नहीं है, तो इनको मायावादी कहते हैं. लेकिन जो भगवान के भक्त है वो जानते हैं कि भगवान को सुंदर स्वरूप है, भगवान का अस्तित्व अनंत काल तक है. This is described in Bhagavad Gita. Lord says, I am spread all over the universe in my impersonal form, everything resting on me, but I am not present. Lord says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matha sarvam pravartate. So everything is coming from Krishna. Krishna says that everything is coming from me, everything resting on me. But that does not mean that everything is coming from me. So everything, I am in everything. Because everything is part and parcel of Krishna. But Krishna has his own separate existence. This can be understood in a very simple example, that when sunlight enters into our room, yes, sunlight has entered into a room, but sun itself has separate existence. When sunlight enters your room, does not mean the sun is finished. Sun is distributing its light everywhere. It's there in the jungle, it's there in the forest, in the water, everywhere the sunlight is there. Even though sun is distributing its energy, sun is not finished. Sun has its own existence. Similarly, Lord Krishna, in the form of Paramatma, he is distributing his mercy to all the living entities. Lord is there in the heart of all humans, animals, reptiles, birds, everywhere Lord is there. But then it does not mean that Lord is finished. There is a nice example regarding the sun and the sunshine. The sun-white sunshine is spread all over the universe, all the planets on the sunshine, but all the planets are different from the sun planet. One cannot say that because planets are resting on the sunshine, these planets are also sun. Similarly, impersonal pantheist view that everything is God is not very intelligent proposal. Now this impersonalists, they say that everything is God. You are God, I am God, we all are God. That is not possible. We cannot become God. Even though God has distributed his energy in the different living entities, like example is given sun again, that even though sun is giving its energy, light to all the planets, but it does not mean that all the planets become sun. Every planet has its own existence and the sun has its own existence. Similarly, Lord has distributed his energy, but that does not mean that everything has become God. Similarly, the impersonal pantheist view that everything is God is not very intelligent proposal. The real position explained by the Lord himself is that although nothing can exist without him, it is not a fact that everything is him. He is different from everything. So here also the Lord says, you will see everything in the world to be non-different from me. So Lord Vishnu is blessing Kardama Muni and says that you will be compassionate and you will see everything coming from me, associated with me. This means that everything should be considered as product of Lord's energy, and therefore everything should be employed in the service of Lord. One's energy should be utilized for one's self-interest. That is the perfection of energy. So everything is property of Krishna. So we should use everything in service of Krishna. We should not think that it belongs to us. It is the property of Krishna himself. This energy can be utilized for the self-interest if one is compassionate. A real person in Krishna consciousness or devotee of Lord is always compassionate. So what is compassion? That is explained here that a devotee has this, one of the best quality of a devotee is karuna, which means that he is compassionate towards every living entities, not only humans but animals, birds, reptile, and think that, oh, all these jivas, they are trapped into different bodies and they are transforming their body one life after another. It's called reincarnation. So they are transmigrating from one body to another, but they are suffering at the same time. So a devotee of Lord thinks that, oh, let me show them the right path. If they surrender to Krishna, then they will attain a spiritual body. They will not suffer and they will have permanent peace and pleasure and happiness. So devotee wants everybody to be happy, and that is only possible if we all surrender to Lord Krishna. Lord says that Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshishyami Ma Suchaha. Moksha means liberation. When we surrender to Lord, we achieve moksha. And the devotee thinks that that is the only ultimate path. Otherwise, we are transforming from one body to another is like suffering. So devotee wants them to be all delivered. A devotee of Lord in Krishna consciousness is not satisfied that only he himself is a devotee, but he tries to distribute the knowledge of devotional service to everyone. There are many devotees of the Lord who faced many risks of distributing devotional service of the Lord to people in general. That should be done. This is karuna. What is karuna? Compassion, which means that devotee thinks that, oh, I am getting this mercy of Krishna, but everybody else should get the mercy. So they face many risks. Like Srila Prabhupada ji, he was very compassionate. At the age of 60 plus, he traveled to America, suffered heart attacks, and had a lot of trouble. But he distributed Krishna consciousness to everybody. So that should be the aim of a devotee who is Krishna consciousness, Krishna conscious. It is also said that person who goes to the temple of Lord and worships with great devotion but does not show sympathy to the people in general or respect to other devotees is considered to be a Kanishta Adhikari. So there are different classes. Kanishta Adhikari means the lowest of the platform. This is where a devotee goes to the temple but he does not show any compassion or respect to the other devotees. Then there is a Madhyamadhikari, a second class devotee, is the one who is merciful and compassionate to the fallen soul. Second class devotee is always cognizant of his position as an eternal servant of Lord. He therefore makes friendship with the devotees of Lord, acts compassionately towards the general public in teaching them devotional service, and refuses to cooperate or associate with non-devotees. So that is Madhyamadhikari. So Kanishtadhikari, Hare Krishna. Madhyamadhikari. So the quality of Madhyamadhikari is that he makes friendship with the devotees and avoids non-devotees. As long as one is compassionate towards the people in general, his devotional service to the Lord one is not compassionate, then he is a Kanishta Adhikari. The first class devotee gives assurance to the every living entity that there is no fear of his material existence. Let us live in Krishna consciousness and conquer the nuisance of material existence. So this is Uttamadhikari. So Uttamadhikari is the one who tells everybody that every living entity there is no fear of the material existence and we should surrender to Lord Krishna. It is indicated here that Kardama Muni was directed by Lord to be very compassionate and liberal in his householder life and to give assurance to the people in his renounced life. So Lord Vishnu, he instructed Kardama Muni that in the householder life, in the Grihastha ashram, one should be very compassionate and help others to come to Krishna consciousness. A sannyasi, one in the renounced order of life, is meant to give enlightenment to the people in general. He should travel going from home to enlighten. The householder, by the spell of Maya, becomes absorbed in his family affairs and forgets his relationship with Krishna. If he dies in forgetfulness like cats and dogs, then his life is spoiled. It is the duty of a sannyasi, therefore, to go and awaken the forgetful souls with enlightenment of their eternal relationship with Lord and to engage them in devotional service. The devotee should show mercy to the fallen souls and also give them assurance of fearlessness. As soon as one becomes a devotee of Lord, he is convinced that he is protected by the Lord. Fear itself is afraid of Lord. Therefore, what has to be done? What he has to do with the fearfulness? To avoid fearlessness to the common man is the greatest act of charity. So here it is mentioned that a devotee of Lord makes everybody fearless, not to be afraid, and dedicate our life for service of Krishna, because Rakhi Krishna Mare Krishna Rakhi Kain. When Krishna is there to protect us, nobody can harm us. So that confidence is there in the devotee. A sannyasi or one who is in a renounced sort of life should wander from door to door, from village to village, from town to town, and from country to country all over the world, as far as he is able to travel and enlighten the householders about Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. A person who is a householder but is initiated by a sannyasi has the duty to spread Krishna consciousness at home. So a grihastha, householder, has a duty. And what is that duty? To spread the message of Krishna. As far as possible, he should call his friends and neighbors to his house and hold classes in Krishna consciousness. This is very important. Holding class means chanting the holy name of Krishna and speaking from Bhagavad Gita, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. There are immense literature for spreading Krishna consciousness, and it is the duty of each and every householder to learn about Krishna from sannyasi, spiritual master. There is a division of labor in the Lord's service. The householder's duty is to earn money because sannyasi is not supposed to earn money but is completely dependent on householder. The householder should earn money by business or by profession and spend at least 50% of his income to spread Krishna consciousness. See, this is a very great responsibility of a householder. So householder's duty is to make the living as well as help in spreading the message of Krishna consciousness. And according to scripture, 50% of our income should go to Krishna consciousness. 25% he can spend for his family and 25% he should save to meet the emergencies. This was the example shown by Rupa Goswami. So the devotees can follow it. Actually, to be one with the Supreme Lord means one with the interest of Lord. Becoming one with the Supreme Lord does not imply becoming as great as Supreme Lord. It is impossible. The part is never equal to the whole. So here Srila Prabhupada is saying that you can never become God. You can become godly, but you can never become God. The living entity is always a minute part. Therefore, his oneness with the Lord is that he is interested in one interest of the Lord. The Lord wants every living entity to always think about him, to be his devotee, and always worship him. This is clearly stated in Bhagavad Gita. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Krishna demands it, that you should surrender to me, you should think about me, worship me, obey obeisances to me. Krishna wants everyone to think of him. Everyone should always offer obeisances to Krishna. This is the will of Supreme Lord, and devotee should try to fulfill the desire of Lord. भगवान की क्या इच्छा है? भगवान की इच्छा यही है कि हम भगवान का ध्यान करें, भगवान कृष्ण की शरण में जाए. Since the Lord is unlimited, his desire is also unlimited. There is no stoppage, and therefore the service of devotee is also unlimited. In the transcendental world, there is unlimited competition between the Lord and the servitor. The Lord wants to fulfill his desires unlimitedly, and the devotee also serves him to fulfill his unlimited desires. There is unlimited oneness of interest between the Lord and his devotees. So, भगवान भी अपने भक्त की इच्छा पूरी करने की कोशिश करते हैं, और भक्त भी भगवान के लिए अपना सब कुछ समर्पित कर देते हैं. So here Srila Prabhupada very nicely explaining the process of self-realization, understanding that Lord is a person, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and even though everything comes from Krishna, Krishna is never finished. It is very important duty of a devotee to be compassionate and spread Krishna consciousness to each and every part, every town, village, and let everybody know that Krishna wants everybody to surrender to him, and people can be really happy if everybody is Krishna conscious. All the fears of life will be removed if we surrender to Krishna. So with that, we'll pause here and we'll continue our discussion tomorrow. Vendraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.